Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Sunday, February 7th, 2016. Ra and Luce here in the Lynn-Life, Jack in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other dimensions, most of us in the subatomic, and most of us in the physical dimensions. Our working theory is that for the videoed portions of today's efforts, we'll be doing something with regard to Thing 1, project known as Thing 1, and specifically with the portal that has opened up at the base of Thing 1 into what feels like a cleaner, more truthful series of dimensions. But we could be wrong. As always, our foundational intention is to do what is ours in all dimensions right now to manifest the divine plan by January 17th, 2017, that being the deadline that somebody in the hierarchy above has said is doable, and we are interested to see whether or not that's true. I don't actually know whether or not that deadline is doable. I wouldn't take a bet on it either way at this point.
That's true.
With that, the videoed portions of today's efforts begin. A voice is asking what we learned when we were working the footage of the healing session that was facilitated a couple of days ago. And we learned many things, but I do believe what's being highlighted is that moment that we were looking down the pillar of the Search for Truth effort from the top, from the vantage point of the non-physical presences.
That's true.
And we could see what looked like basically rats and leeches in the non-physical dimensions between our vantage point and what they are most misleadingly calling the entry point, which is the top of the Search for Truth pillar, and that is not the entry point for the Search for Truth pillar. The entry point is in the deep subatomic at the approach tunnel, and so we have put wide red crisscrossing bands in what seems to be an almost universally recognized symbol of no.
That's
a big
true.
Red X across the top of the pillar. This is not the entry, and we have all the signs on there that have been on there for so long.
That's true.
Do not enter here. This is an exit only. This means if you enter through here, then you will bear the karmic implications and there is no escaping
That's true.
the bad karma that will come your way by breaking this seal.
That's true.
And what do I know? I saw rats and leeches in between where our active teammates stop and the vantage point that we had when we were looking down.
That's true.
And that all of those presences in between were abusing the facilities, which of course fits into our experiences of all these messages that have nothing whatsoever to do with us.
That's true.
But the pencil point is circling around to how important the vantage point was and how useful that was. So my interpretation is what we are supposed to do is shoot on up and then look down at the Thing 1 facilities from that same level or higher.
Yes, that's true.
I can see that higher soul of Ulysses, and he's waving like, come here, you can see it from here.
That's true.
Okay, we'll go up there. What do I notice? I notice that it isn't nearly as well defined a pillar, and there's a lot of mist, like fog blowing from the side really fast, like
That's
sea
true.
fog.
That's true.
It's a lot harder to see. This might explain why all these presences keep ignoring our instruction. We say, why are you bothering us? You're not supposed to break through this entry, but there's an entry point right over there in Thing 1. Party down. There's soul flow needed over there.
That's
Make yourself
true.
useful. And they ignore those actually very truthful words and continue to harass us.
That's true. And from this perspective, it's really foggy. I can't even see the top.
Yeah, no, I can't see the entry point. Somebody has to be willing to drive in fog.
That's true.
These people are such cowards.
Weenies.
They're just, it's really appalling.
That's true.
You're afraid to drive in fog? Oh my God.
That's what it looks like.
Oh my God. Upward flow. What do I know? I know that I can feel right through that fog, and I can feel right down through Thing 1's pillar, and I can feel right down, there's that kind of ridge where the portal is.
That's true.
And I can stick my hand through into that space that's beneath it, and I feel a big hand, like a hand the same size as my hand, taking my hand and shaking it in a gesture that feels very friendly.
That's true, I feel that.
It feels like, let's work together.
Yes.
We have common goals, or similar goals, or common purpose.
That's true.
All right, so now I'm just going to put our purpose on the palm of my hand, because sometimes we think we have common purpose and we're just not communicating clearly.
That's true.
Our assignment is to manifest the divine plan. And on this side of the portal, all of creation basically has oppositional, defiant disorder to living their own soul plans.
That's true.
Our soul plans are individually crafted to be that perfect plan of actions that will allow us to create lives of joy for ourselves and worlds that work for our environments. And yet, almost everyone, what's under the Band-Aid, the hidden truth is, I don't want to do it.
That's true.
And therefore, someone in the hierarchy above, and it feels like truthful minds above, wiser minds, more truthful minds above, have discerned that a collective restart is needed.
That's true.
So we have this assignment to provide a collective restart by January 17th, 2017 in Planet Earth Dating, which is the dating system that was affixed to this deadline many years ago.
That's true.
This project, known as Thing 1, is part of a group of individuated sentiences who have been selected because they are very tiny presences. This one is a humanoid on a planet, a very average planet, a very backwater universe.
That's true.
And this humanoid doesn't want to live his soul plan. He's a perfect representation of the rest of all of creation on this side of the portal.
That's true.
And our instructions with regard to this presence, project known as Thing 1, is to support him to live his soul plan and absolutely nothing else, to do what is his to do in every single moment and nothing else.
That's true.
So help me God. That's our mission here. Does that fit with your mission?
Kind of, sort of. It's like there's an intersection of interests in there.
Okay, talk about your mission. And now they're pushing Glenn forward.
That's true.
Glenn has been working on the other side of the portal for long enough that hopefully he's got some kind of sense of their mission, and his head is kind of going sideways.
Wobbly.
Like, well, I'm not sure. I can tell you what I know so far.
Yeah.
That would be great, Glenn. Just deepen the merge and tell us what you know so far. Mike?
What seems to be troubling these people the most is they feel a big lack of certain resources. It's like they are a relatively bountiful series of dimensions, but there's no salt. There's no blank.
And that resource, or those resources that are scarce to them, is it something that we have plenty of?
They think so, but the translation is really delicate.
Can they give you a sample of what they're searching for, or a spectrogram of what they're searching for, or a vibrational image of what they're searching for?
That's a good question. I think they have a vibrational image of it.
Okay, we'll just kind of bring it up to us so we can hold it in our hearts.
It's like courage and persistence, maybe, is the right word.
Courage and persistence. And so we sent through a lot of ex-body snatchers. They were what we call the red tail light community. And there were an awful lot of them. And we sent them through. Boom.
Through the portal to the other side.
Is that what they're looking for?
Yeah, kind of like that.
I don't know.
Like that got their attention and they said, oh, hang on, this feels kind of like that thing we need. I wonder if there's more of it on that other side.
What do I know? I know that in the healing sessions that various souls have facilitated working through this physical host for 17 years or so now, that what works well is to attempt to heal the lack. I know it sounds paradoxical, but rather than trying to bring in what we need, to heal the lack of it is often very helpful.
That's true. That makes perfect sense.
Yes, and so see if they can draw together like a nugget of the lack. We can see how there might be a win-win, because this does not feel dangerous to me.
No, it doesn't.
This feels actually fine. And they can give us their lack, and we can maybe have a win-win. Will you tell them that, Glenn? It feels like they've been listening.
Yeah, they're listening, and I see them all standing around watching.
And they're going to get better examples of lack. Give us your best examples of the lack. We would call them the cases that need healing the most.
That's true.
Give us your critically ill. We're saying directly to them, we're working on it. Give us some time. We think there's potential here. We think there's a potential.
And handshake.
Handshake. And in the meantime, can our people continue to learn more about what's going on over there? Is that okay with you? Because we have many people who, it seems from our perspective, they're supposed to go get a sample of the air on the other side, so to speak. Is just go see what's going on over there. Is that okay with you? We don't mean to be offensive.
They seem all right with that, as long as the samples that we're taking isn't something they have lack of. They have lots of worry about lack.
Well, just you have to make sure of that, because we don't know what is a lack to you and what isn't.
That's
so
true.
If you can give a native speaker, assign a native speaker to each tour group, so to speak, because we don't want to be stealing your rare resources, but we have no idea what's rare.
That's true.
To us it might not be rare, to you it might be rare, and we might take a drink of water, so to speak, which to us is not rare, and just have violated a sacred rule.
Yes, they seem willing to do that.
Yes, because our intention is to not break the rules. Our intention is to be good neighbors.
That's true.
You know what Pan would say? I don't know how this is going to end, but it's beginning well.
That's true.
I miss Pan.
Me too.
And to Glenn, we would say to have them gather up many things that they have lack of. We can feel that they have given us examples of only one type of lack.
That's true.
And they have other types of lack. I can feel it. Have them line up those other examples also. When Luce finishes analyzing this one, we can just keep it coming.
That's true. The samples of
keep
lack.
The samples of lack, and just have them keep them on their side of the portal, but ready, so that somebody can pop through and grab a bag of lack and come back and work on it and see what we can do about it.
That's true.
Have them sort their piles of lack into various categories and just label them A, B, C, D, E, or numerically.
That's true.
But in an order that prioritizes it, so that we can tell what it is they are most intent on solving and try those first. And we really want to highlight this. We focus on what they are most intent on solving, not on what feels like it might solve our problems. Because when we take our eyes off ourselves and try to help someone through divine paradox, miracles happen. Make sure it's numbered or lettered in an order that shows their biggest problems. I see what Luce is kind of like titrating out of that, getting drops. And what it is, smells so much like wishful thinking. They feel like they want wishful thinking.
I think that's true.
I think we've got plenty of that. Yeah, I think we can send you many fine samples of wishful thinking.
That's true.
Oh, that's really funny.
That's really funny.
Yeah, we've got no shortage of wishful thinking.
That's true.
Good news. I think we've got problem number 1 solved for you guys.
I think we can help with that.
Yeah, we can help with that. They don't know what they're asking for. Be careful what you ask for.
Right.
I think what they're saying is the truth is too ugly. We want to have some wishful thinking.
Ooh.
We'll trade. Yes, we'll trade. Well, what do I know? Sometimes things are simply out of balance. Maybe if we view this as a oneness and start to shift, try to rebalance wishful thinking between their series of dimensions and our series of dimensions, maybe something would happen.
That could be.
Glenn, go to their head guy and say, it's too soon to promise anything, but it looks to us that what we have is an imbalance of this, and use their word for it, whatever they use, that we have way too much of this and they seem to have very little of it, and we would just rebalance it so that we both have the right amount.
That's true.
Might not necessarily be
That's
equal.
True,
the right amount. It might all need to go to their side. Maybe we've had it for way too long,
and it needs to go,
now it needs to go to them.
The right amount.
The right amount. We can rebalance.
True.
We know how to rebalance. That's, if this is what it appears to be, that's what our proposal would be.
That feels like a yes from the leader.
Feels like a yes. Okay, well, this is what we'll be working on today.
That's true.
Meanwhile, upstairs, there's some kind of panic at the idea that there's a way of removing wishful thinking.
That's true.
Look how they're freaking out.
Big panic.
Yeah, well, it has to go. It still has to go.
That's true. It's not helpful.
It's not helpful.
And we're just balancing to the right balance.
We're just going for the right balance. And look how they're saying, well, how do you know that they won't be taking some of our
taking our stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Our good stuff, our
Okay.
good wishful thinking.
I'm done with you people. Let's close.